Once upon a time, in a small tailor shop, a raccoon was about to make a cloak for a villain. It was a peaceful afternoon, with her only customer being a duck who needed his shirt mended. That was, until a beardog entered the shop. When he entered, it seemed like he filled half of the studio on his own, towering over the raccoon and the mannequins, and she couldn't help but wonder if his neck hurt looking down, as he tapped his palm on the ceiling effortlessly. But more importantly, she was very confused. The area around her shop was home for a lot of smaller woodland folk who needed more petite clothing options, so it wasn't very common to see someone so large in this part of the forest. Must be from out of town. As he looked around, she took the chance to analyze his outfit. Her black eyes darted up and down, making estimates for clothing measurements, and she noticed his hands sparkle against the light of the window. On his fingers were a couple of large rings with red gems in the center. One of them had an intricately molded crest that she couldn't quite place. Somehow, it looked familiar, but she couldn't remember why. The rings looked expensive, and she quickly calculated how much they would cost on the black market. Being an ex-kleptomaniac, she felt her palms itch and her heart race. Don't do it, she thought to herself. That was the old you. The new you is an honest businesswoman. So she spoke in a professional voice, betraying nothing. "Good afternoon, sir. How can I help you?" He looked down with a skeptical look in his eye, perhaps realizing that this shop was for smaller folk. "I need a new cloak. Are you up for the job?" the beardog mumbled. She replied with a dignified nod, placing both of her agile hands on the measuring tape around her shoulders. On the inside, she was very excited. If she made this cloak for the mysterious rich client, she wouldn't have to work so hard for the rest of the year. After doing a couple of warm-up stretches, she pulled out a ladder and climbed up to get a better vantage point. "Sir, if you don't mind paying for the extra fabric, I'd be happy to help with any clothing you need." As she buzzed around him in the shop, he smirked with amusement. Contrary to his gruff and menacing appearance, he was someone who liked cute things a lot. He secretly collected cute objects that made him smile, and, coincidentally, she looked exactly like the most popular doll in the capital. This doll was known as the fairy raccoon, who wore frilly dresses and held tea parties. He found himself wondering, are all woodland folk so amusing? But that didn't last long, as he had a strange thought in the back of his mind. She looked familiar, like he had seen her before. He paused, taking time to think while the raccoon's back was turned. She was currently digging through an old chest of fabric, and then it hit him. She looked like the raccoon on the wanted posters. Natasha Gerbage. She had stolen a lot of jewelry from some of the most powerful families in the capital, but it didn't make sense. If this raccoon was Natasha, then she must be in hiding. Being the head of a mercenary guild himself, he didn't mind that the seamstress was actually a world-renowned thief. In fact, he thought of this as a great opportunity. He wanted to recruit her. But first, he had to test his theory. He wanted to make sure she was the real deal. So, when she came back with some fabric swatches, he pushed the wanted poster in front of her. She looked at the poster, and she realized who he was. The familiarity she felt before was for a good reason. She had heard of him before, the guild leader of the mercenary group Havoc. He was well known for recruiting people with high skills. She rolled her eyes. "Are you seriously trying to recruit me? Look, I'm a seamstress now." "Sure," he replied, unconvinced. "Well, Natasha, don't think I haven't seen you eyeing the rings on my hand. If you join my guild, I will give you a ring exactly like this." She blinked. Is he serious? He would have to do better. So she just laughed, thinking it was a joke. "Just give me the ring itself. I won't accept a copy." The beardog raised an eyebrow, but didn't say a word as he pulled the glimmering, extremely expensive ring off his finger and placed it in her tiny palm. "So, you in?" He smirked. She sighed, but couldn't deny that this was an amazing deal. She rolled up her sleeves and pulled out a knife and some leather gloves. "I'm in." And a special thanks to my Raccoon Snacks patrons, Anna Gaylord, Arij, Derek Moore, Agley, Jessica, Julia, Laura Moon, Paige Sullivan, and S. Marie Carlson. Thank you so much.